Principal madam is likely to join within few minutes.
Yes, sir.
दे दो.
Sorry for the interruption. There was a network problem. Principal Madam, can we begin the webinar with your kind permission?
I'm not audible.
Sir, we'll wait for a minute. Students are joining now. Just now
Yes.
only their class is over.
Yes,
We'll wait
yes.
for a few minutes, sir.
Yes, madam. Madam, may we start now? We have 60 students. Madam, you're not audible. Madam, you're not audible. Nathani, madam. Your mic is muted. Your mic is muted, madam. Your mic is muted, madam. Your mic is still muted, madam. Prinka, you don't have any problem with your mic, right?
No, sir.
Okay.
आवाज येत नाही सर.
हाँ?
आवाज येत नाही.
मुझे आवाज येत नहीं है.
सर आपका आवाज आ रहा है क्लियरली. Actually, we haven't started yet. Yeah.
क्लियर आहे.
Yes, yes.
आवाज नहीं आ रहा है सर.
अभी नहीं चालू नहीं किया अभी.
अभी
वेबिनार
start
चालू
नहीं
नहीं है अभी. Madam is joining us. She has some problem with the mic.
Presently, sir, everybody's video and audio is very much clear, sir.
Okay. I'm very sorry for the delay. We have some technical problems. I apologize to the gathering and the resource person as well.
Sir, am I audible now?
Yes, yes, madam. Yes, but you're not visible. You're audible but not visible, ma'am. Yes, thank
Now
you.
it's okay?
Yes, yes, madam. Thank you.
Shall we begin, ma'am?
Yes, we'll start.
Sir, I'm starting with the recording, sir.
Yes, yes. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Priyanka.
Good morning, everyone. A very warm welcome to this absolutely wonderful, beautiful, and auspicious day that brings us all together virtually. I hope you all are doing well. Am I clearly audible and visible to you
No,
all?
madam. There's a disturbance. Some noise is coming from your side.
Is it now, sir?
Yes, yes.
Sorry. Um, On behalf of the Anand Education Society and the Anand College of Law, Latur, I am pleased to welcome our esteemed guest and learned resource person, Dr. Sanmat Shetty, sir, Assistant Professor at Sinhagad Institute of Management, Pune. Our Principal in Charge, Dr. Poonam Nathani, ma'am, Coordinator of today's National Webinar, Assistant Professor Ravindra Shetty, sir, teaching and non-teaching staff, and our beloved participants. To the national webinar organized on the occasion of celebration of Golden Jubilee and Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav on the topic of human resource and law. Now, I request our principal in charge, Dr. Poonam Nathani ma'am, to give the inaugural speech.
Thank you, Priyanka. Very good morning to one and all. Respected our today's distinguished resource person, Dr. Sanmat Shetty sir from Pune. All my colleagues, my teachers, coordinator of the program, Shetty sir, and my beloved students. We are really very grateful here to receive the sir in today's webinar. At the very outset, I wholeheartedly welcome our today's resource person on behalf of the Anand Education Society, the Anand College of Law. Sir, we are really grateful for you for giving your time to our students and consenting to deliver the lecture on very important topic, human resources. It is a multidisciplinary subject. Wherever we work, it is the most relevant one. So, sir, I feel that we will be having the very fruitful session, and our students will, as they are the law students, they should have the knowledge from every discipline, and we are trying to make our students capable to meet, to face all the global challenges. So, by the webinar series, we are trying to provide them expertise knowledge. So once again, I welcome you to today's webinar and hope that we'll be having very fruitful session. Thank you, sir. Over to you, Priyanka. And
Thank
I
you,
want to
madam.
appreciate the efforts of my staff. Every day, some very great resource persons from various faculties are invited, and we are trying to give our students the best. Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
madam. Thank you, madam.
That's really very true, ma'am. As we students are also able to explore in the various dimensions of life as well as law because of our college and due to the expertise knowledge that are given by the resource persons. Now, I request the coordinator of today's national webinar, Assistant Professor Ravindra Shetty, sir, to give the introduction of our esteemed guest.
Thank you, Priyanka. Today's resource person, respected Dr. Sanmat Shetty, sir. Our inspiration, respected Principal Madam Dr. Poonam Nathani, my esteemed colleagues, and my dear students. A warm good morning and welcome to you all. In a constant endeavor to enhance the knowledge of our dear students, the college administration and the faculty arranges various webinars on various topics in today's difficult situation where physical appearance is not possible. So today's topic of human resources and law is one of such efforts. Man management is an important task in any organization, be it a company, factory, office, institution, educational institution, etc. This skill of using human workforce according to the need, qualification, experience, and extracting the most out of that is called as human resource management. While managing the human resource, the person who is employing the workforce need to observe some laws, rules and regulations like labor laws, Minimum Wages Act, and also has to provide work environment and benefits like maternity benefits, etc. And at the same time, employees also have some responsibilities, code of conduct, etc. Whenever there is a violation of provisions of law, either of the party may seek a remedy for the issue in question. Thus, provisions of the law and the advocate's role come into picture. Now, to carry us through various aspects of human resources and its relation with various laws, we have with us today's resource person as an expert in the field, Dr. Sanmat Shetty, Assistant Professor, Simhagad Institute of Management, Pune. Before we invite him to have an interaction with the students, I would like to give a brief introduction of our chief speaker. Dr. Sanmat Shetty sir is presently serving as Assistant Professor at Simhagad Institute of Management, Pune. He is enriching the knowledge of the students ever since 2010 in that capacity, while teaching the subjects of human resource management, training and development, organizational development, labor laws, and legal aspects of the business. Dr. Shetty is a member of the committee to design and develop within the organization. You all are aware of the standard of Harvard University. So they are developing such module in the organization. He is also a member of the core committee involved in organizing Spectrum, a business festival at a national level competition. Before joining Simhagad Institute of Management as a lecturer, he was associated with an organization called as Venture Media Pune as HR Administration Associate. Dr. Shetty did his SSC from St. Mary's High School, Mumbai, that is from Maharashtra board. Completed his HSC from GN Khalsa College, Mumbai. Later on, he graduated in BA from Ferguson College of Pune. He completed his MBA in Human Resource from Simhagad Institute of Management, Pune. He also did his diploma in labor laws and labor welfare from Simhagad Institute of Management, Pune. Dr. Shetty completed his PhD from Savitribai Phule Pune University in the year 2018, and his thesis was titled as A Study of Effect of Employee Engagement on Faculty Performance for Organizational Development with reference to selected ranked management institutes in Maharashtra. His research and publications include research paper titled Workforce Diversity Study in Restaurant Industry and its Future Implication, which he did in 2011, organized by SIMCA Pune. His second paper was titled as A Study of Workforce Diversity and its Implications in Hospitals, with special reference to the nursing staff in selected hospitals in Pune region in the year 2011, organized by SKN SSBM Pune. His next research paper was titled A Study of Opportunities and Challenges for Agri-Tourism in Maharashtra, was also done in the year 2011, organized by SKN SSBM Pune. Next research paper titled Study of Talent Acquisition in the KPO Industry, Challenges and Opportunity. He did that in the same year of 2011, organized by SKN SSBM Pune. These are only a few amongst the many of his publications. Workshops and training programs attended include amongst many such as refresher program in leadership and governance in higher education for 14 days, organized by UGC Human Resource Development Center, Savitribai Phule, Pune University. Orientation training program for mentors of higher education institutions, organized by NITTR, Kolkata. AICT Training and Learning Academic Online FDF on Entrepreneurship and Startup Opportunities through Tourism and Hospitality Business, organized by Mizoram University. Next, AICT Training and Learning Academic Online Elementary FDF on Consulting Building a Vibrant Industry Academia Ecosystem, organized by Ellen Wellinger Institute of Management and Development and Research, Bangalore. Well, I can go on and on, but I have to stop here because students are eager to listen to him. I now request Priyanka to invite our today's resource person to interact with the students. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It's really a pleasure to have you within us to guide us all with your expertise knowledge, sir. Human resource management is greatly influenced and shaped by the state and federal laws governing the employment issues. Indeed, regulations and laws governing all the aspects of human resource management in its recruitment, placement, development, and compensation. Similarly, in order to develop the fair practices related to hiring, training, pay, benefits, and virtually all the other activities related to human resource and its relation to law. It's of immense importance to know law in order to take steps against the discrimination in abuse, avoid liability, and handle legal issues in relation to human resources. It marks it an important area of study in law schools as well. To enlighten us all in this very important and interesting area of study, I would now request our learned resource person, Sanmat Shetty sir, to guide us all on today's topic of human resource and law.
Thank you. Thank you for this warm welcome and gracious introduction. Thank you very much. I'll try to share a screen. Please let me know when it's visible. Is this visible?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. I'll go right to the topic. Our topic is HR and its connection with law. Under the new education policy, you will see a lot of intermingling or interdisciplinary courses that are going to take place in future. And one of the element is business and law. There are various universities and institutes that are commencing with BBA, LLB, or who had initially commenced, but they are refreshing their entire academics year after the NEP has released. With regards to that, I'm talking about a topic regarding HR and its connection with law. I'm not going to speak on the law part a lot because all of you all I expect are experts in that field. I'll be talking about HR in particular to explain concepts of HR and how law plays a role in each and every element there. Before I begin the topic, I just want you to understand what connection management for that matter has with law. Like Ravindra sir told about Harvard Business School, there's a story, a legend that goes that how did the case study methodology of management develop? There's a story that goes, which says in 1920, there was no particular director or in charge to handle the Harvard Business School. Harvard also has a very reputed, esteemed law college, the Harvard Law School. Hence, the director of the law school was asked to take charge of the business school as well. Now, everyone, y'all are studying law, y'all know how much important cases are and studying those cases are in law. And the director, since he was handling both these institutes together, felt whether we could use these cases to study business as well. And from there, the idea of case study development and its use in management took place. Now, going back to our topic regarding HR, let me just explain what does HRM mean. HRM is a function performed in organizations that facilitates the most effective use of people to achieve organizational and individual goals. See, when you talk about HR considers humans to be more of resources. Okay, they are not considered as liability. And how they can be used most effectively ensure that the organization goals are met. I would request someone to please mute the speaker. I can hear some background sound. Okay, thank you. So this function helps us or helps the companies utilize people more effectively. Okay, and when people come into picture, law also comes into picture, and hence law becomes an integral part of human resource management. Okay, to understand the human resource much better, it would help us to understand the history of human resource management before. The history of human resource management can be divided into three parts: the scientific management, the human relation approach, and the modern approach or human resource approach. But I'll just explain what concepts are there. Initially, in the 16th, 17th centuries roundabout, industrialization took place. And with the industrial revolution that took place in UK, England, a lot of employment opportunities opened up and many people from rural areas started migrating to these cities where they felt they would get jobs. But with the capitalist approach or mindset, the owners or employers used to exploit people, and hence people were just considered initially to be a part of this manufacturing process. Rather than being resources, they were considered as good as machines. To some extent, if I am free to say, the humans were considered even, you may say, lower than machines. The machines were taken care much more than humans then. In the mid 1900s, a scientific management approach took place. But in this approach, if you look at it, the basic idea was how to increase production rather than looking at the benefits towards human, or you may say employees. Okay, study of motion and fatigue, one best way. So basically you would give them idea of how work has to be done, and this work needs to be done effectively by the people. Next, you look after 1930 and 1940, human relation approach suddenly came up. This approach, I'll tell you the reason for this approach was Hawthorne experiments that were conducted. And what is Hawthorne experiments? Just I'll give you an idea. The institute was looking at options where they could increase the productivity of people. And they saw how productivity could be increased. So they say whether light is going to affect people, whether sound is going to affect people, they wanted to check this. So what they did is they checked whether people are effectively working in dim light or people are effectively working in bright light. They wanted to check all these elements. What they noticed is, irrespective of what was the nature of light, whenever they were under observation, people's performance improved. Later on, when they did more study on this, they realized it was not the light that was affecting people, it was the observation that was happening that was affecting people. It was the observation that was taking place that was affecting people. Hence, what they concluded, the moment someone is observing employees, their performance would improve. And the moment the observer would move, the performance would reduce. So suddenly they felt relation of psychological factors. Suddenly they felt the importance of psychological factors. And there the entire approach changed. Towards 1970s, the approach moved from the psychological to the human resources movement, where suddenly people realized that employees were more of assets. They developed policies, programs, laws, which would help people, which would make the environment more conducive for work. This is the general idea of how human resources improved gradually. This is one opinion by a Deputy Manager HR, Mr. Amrik Singh, regarding HR and law. Okay, I would just read it out so that we can understand. See, he says in HR, it is the law basically, one should see the compliance of all applicable legal provisions, rules and regulation, ethical conduct of affairs, part of wealth management. All directors and officers shall take utmost care and pay attention to comply with all applicable laws, regulation, rules and regulatory orders in letter and in spirit. They are also expected to acquire appropriate knowledge of the requirements related to their duties sufficient to enable them to recognize potential dangers and to report to the board or management the possible violation of laws and regulation or code of conduct. If you look at this opinion that this HR has stated, it clearly tells us that how important law is in HR, where a lot of provisions have to be completed, a lot of elements need to be ensured that all the things are within regulation, within the legal order, and hence it is a very important part of an HR manager. Now, these are the different activities that are conducted under HRM. HR planning and analysis, recruitment and selection, orientation and maintenance, compensation and benefits, performance appraisal, health, safety and security, exit of employees. So basically, from the time an employee enters to the time an employee leaves the organization, all the activities right from the planning to the exit of the employees are under the activities or under the scope of human resource management. Now, what actually happens in human resource planning and analysis? Human resource planning is the process by which an organization ensures that the right number and right kind of people at the right place, at the right time, capable of effectively and efficiently completing those tasks that will help the organization achieve its overall objectives. So if you go to see, a lot of work takes place before an organization actually commences work, in actually finding out how much people are required. Okay, there was a small case where an human resource audit of a company called Gas Authority India Limited was conducted. Yeah. And what they realized is around 70,000 people were in excess in the organization. Now, if there are 70,000 people who are in excess, what would this result to? The salaries that are going to be paid to these 70,000 people in excess are going to eat into the profits of the company. Okay, and you have to find out now legal ways, and actually through the case where GAIL was trying to find legal ways in which these 70,000 people could be adjusted in some way or the other, because terminating them was no solution, because they knew it would increase legal complications, right? So human resource planning plays a very important part, where you have to realize what is the right number of people required for your organization, what kind of people are required, are they at the right position, right place? Okay, my requirement is in Mumbai, but I have done recruitment for Delhi, doesn't match. Are they at the right time? Okay, and this will ensure, if you have the right people at the right time at the right place, that the work that is required to be done by the organization, okay, is completed well. There are various tasks in human resource planning. For example, planning that I have told you, job analysis. There are technologies that are used, MIS systems that are used like HRIS. Okay, I'll just give you an idea of what is job analysis. Job analysis means where we analyze the job to find out two things. Number one, would talk about what qualities or what duties or what work has to be done in a given job. And the second one, that is job specification. The first one was job description. Second one, job specification, talks about what qualities or what qualification do you require in this person to complete this said job. And you have to match this. Okay, you have to match this. Various laws that come into picture here would be number one, under Article 16 would be the equal employment opportunity, okay, without any discrimination to be done, because you have to think on those lines when you are planning what sort of people do you require. Next step of HR would be recruitment and selection. Now both these functions are used synonymously, but they have different utilities to it. Like for example, recruitment is the process of searching the candidates for employment and stimulating them to apply for jobs in the organization. Now if I go to simplify this definition, a successful recruitment would mean ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोग मेरे advertisement के लिए apply करेंगे. Okay, so if I put an recruitment advertisement, many people would apply for this advertisement. That means my recruitment has become successful. So you are trying to attract people to apply for this given job. Selection is a process that would do vice versa, where it would try to select out of the given applications that have come. It will try to select person who is more capable of doing the work. Okay, who's more capable, who's more qualified, and it matches the tasks that are going to be required to be done. So definition is the process of selection leads to employment of persons who possess the ability and qualification to perform the jobs which have fallen vacant in the organization. So depending on what post is there, you are going to select the person having the maximum likelihood to do the work properly. Now there are various tasks conducted for recruitment like advertisement, e-recruitment, outsourcing. You have these portals that are there, Naukri and Monster. You have campus placements that take place. Companies go to colleges directly and recruit. And for selection, it is usually tasks given to the individual candidates like test, group discussion, interviews, etc., where you're trying to find out the person who's more capable of doing your work better. Again, the legal elements here would comprise regarding, I told you, the equal remuneration, also the equal opportunity. You can't discriminate against anyone. So all these elements need to be taken into consideration. This is a very important part where you're talking about the maintenance of an employee. By maintenance, I'm talking about once an employee is selected or selected for a particular job, till the time he doesn't leave the job or he doesn't retire, what happens in between? Okay, it would start with orientation, where the employee is introduced to the working of the organization and all the rules and regulations that happen within the organization. Okay, it starts with that, so that an employee is more familiar. Okay, everyone, according to their function, realizes what importance do they have within the organization. The next element would be training and development, where planned efforts are designed to facilitate the acquisition of relevant skills, knowledge, and attitude by organizational members. So actually what is training is some sort of program that is conducted so that I develop skills to do my current job well. I develop skills to do my current job well. And this is conducted throughout an organization, throughout the career of an employee. It doesn't mean training is only conducted during the starting phase, but it is conducted throughout. If an employee seems very much capable of getting promoted, he may be undergoing some training so that he can take over that promotion or the post once he is eligible. Okay, so it is something that happens continuously. Career planning is how the organization looks at the career growth of an employee. So if, for example, they feel, okay, this candidate XYZ is good enough to become the manager in our company, what growth do we see? In how much time can we promote him as a manager? That is career plan. And this all is discussed with the employee. Okay, this entire element is discussed with the employee so that he is aware what is actually happening. Employee engagement is somewhere you are keeping the employee involved with their work and ensuring an emotional connect between the employee, the work, and the organization. The more emotionally connected an employee is with the organization and with the work that he is doing, the better the output, the better the dedication for the work, the better the involvement in the work will take place. Okay? With this connection, what is ensured is that the employee gives this 100%. And this thing does not lead to stress also. Okay? Because like I told you, in the entire process, we are looking with the connection of law also. Okay? Stress leads to accidents, stress leads to occupational diseases, or you may say disablements. Okay? And there are various laws are in picture which actually play a role there. Okay? So keeping the employee happy, stress-free is also an important factor here. Compensation and benefit. Now, all of you all must be aware of the Minimum Wages Act, Payment of Wages Act, the Bonus Act, the Gratuity Act. Okay, you have the ESI, EPF. All these various acts would play a role when you're talking about compensation and benefits. So when we talk about compensation and benefits, it's not simple calculation of salary. It is also ensuring that all the provisions of these laws that I spoke about are taken care of. You ensure that every element of these laws or these elements of these acts are taken care of. You're talking to them, you're letting them know what element is being taken care of. As aspects related to incentive, benefits, bonuses, and social security are also taken care of. Okay. One element that is very important when I'm talking about these things is transparency. Okay. When I talk about transparency, people usually get confused. What do you mean by transparency? Now, by transparency, I mean where you let people know what is actually happening within the organization. Everyone is actually aware why certain action has been taken. Like, for example, there is an employee called Sunil and an employee called Anil. Both of them are working within the organization. And without any particular transparency, without any divulgement of details, Anil is given a bonus of 15,000 more than Sunil. What would this lead to is a lot of gossiping, a lot of rumor mongering within the organization. Okay, people think, isko kyun zyada mila? Okay, but if the elements are very much transparent, everyone knows the reason why the bonus has been given to Anil, there won't be much of a debate. On the other hand, it would motivate the employees more to perform better, to ensure they give their 110% for their particular job. Moving ahead, there's an element called as performance appraisal. I'll just define what is performance appraisal. Performance appraisal is a systematic, periodic, and so far as humanly possible, an impartial rating of an employee's excellence in matters pertaining to his present job and to his potentialities for a better job. Okay. What is performance appraisal? Performance appraisal is an evaluation, is like an exam that takes place. Okay. An evaluation, not exactly an exam, just a word I use, but it is an evaluation that takes place to check whether the person who has been working for the past 1 year or 6 months has been giving what level of performance for the desired job. Okay. If the performance is above expectation, he is going to be rewarded. If the job or performance is below expectation, maybe he would be recommended for training or some sort of intervention would be used so that he comes up or improves his performance. Remember, like I told you in the previous element, transparency is again an important element here. Performance appraisal. मैं किसी को promotion दे रहा हूँ. Okay, I'm promoting someone. Why am I promoting him? That should be clearly known to people. Before that, employees should know which elements of their jobs are going to be evaluated. Hence, they realize what is important and what can be postponed or done later. Because maybe, I'll just give you an example. Like suppose I'm a faculty. I'm supposed to do a bit of administration, a bit of placement, a bit of admissions, a bit of, okay, all the administrative related elements, fees collection and teaching. Now, if I am not told on what basis am I going to be appraised, I may pay attention to an aspect which is not actually important. I may pay more attention to an aspect of fees collection. Okay? Whereas in reality, as a faculty, the element that is going to be focused upon is teaching. Right? If I know the element that is going to be focused upon is teaching, I will pay more attention to the teaching element rather than the other elements. Okay, others need to be done, but my focus should always be on teaching. If I know this as an employee, if I know this, I'm going to be evaluated on this level, I will ensure I'm giving my best when I'm teaching. Okay, again, transparency. Okay, health, safety, security. This is another element where the HR plays an important role. Factories Act. Okay, what are you looking at Factories Act? You're looking at elements where you're looking at health provision, safety provision. Okay, Factories Act is just an example. Depending on which type of industry you're in, depending on which type of business you're in, the acts may change. But the entire element is looking at the health of the employees, looking at the safety and security of the employees. Okay, this needs to be taken care of. So education in this case is also very important. Educating the employee. Okay, we may use all the provisions, we may use all the methods to ensure no accident takes place at the job site, but employees may not realize the importance of these provisions. And if they do, due to some careless mistake, some accident takes, the company is going to be liable to a lot of things. Okay, you have the Workman's Compensation Act here. Okay, which would be ensure the company pays a good amount of compensation to the worker who has undergone the accident. Various small things, but it becomes quite, you may say, jittery when you talk about health safety. Okay, because people are usually careless regarding their own health and safety. For the best example would be the cigarette packets. After putting these images, putting everything, the health warning and everything, still people would consume a cigarette because they feel it is silly, right? Same thing happens in an organization. The workers feel the provisions that have been used for health and safety are silly. Zarurat hi nahi, mujhe kuch hoga hi nahi. This is what everyone feels. Okay, but in reality, these provisions have to be taught to the employees so that accidents can be reduced. Exit of an employee. This is the last phase when an employee leaves the organization. In this case, the process by which an employee ends the relation with an employer. It can be any reason. Okay, the employer asking the employee to leave. Okay, it can be a resignation. It can be a retirement. It can be a suspension. It can be a dismissal. Okay, all these elements, okay, have legal elements associated with it. I'm sure as law students, you are aware of the law of natural justice, where any decision cannot be taken by hearing only one side. Okay, you have to give your ears to both the sides. You have to give an opportunity to both the sides to put forward their points, to put forward their elements. Okay. Now, what tasks are involved usually during exit is an exit interview to understand what problems took place, okay, to rectify the problems in future, and ensuring the completion of the exit checklist. Means all the legal formalities are completed or no, that has to be ensured before an employee leaves. Right? These are the various acts. Okay, these are the various acts where you utilize or an HR has to be act with. Licensing and registration under various labor laws. Okay, so depending on what sort of industry you are in, you have to think about what sort of licensing is required, when is the forms to be filled, when is the amount to be done, okay, when is the re-registration done. All these elements is taken care of. Calculation of periodical liabilities and preparation of payment challans accordingly. So depending on what licensing is going to be done, you have to ensure the periodical liability statements are filed, payments are done. preparation and submission of periodical statutory reports, okay, all regarding within the organization. Wherever you are using people, you are going to tell what elements are going to be, what are the statutory elements requirements for the government, okay, and whenever inspection takes place, you have to ensure you are present and you have all the papers and files open to the inspectors. Factories Act, like I told you, is an important act. The PF Miscellaneous Provision Act, ESI Act, Employee State Insurance, Minimum Wages Act. Okay, depending on which town you are, you have to decide what would be the minimum wage for a particular job. So it all depends from industry to industry. Bonus Act is there. Okay, Contract Labor Regulation and Abolishing Act, Professional Tax Act, Shop and Establishment Act, Labor Welfare Fund. But see, these are all acts. I'm sure many of you all would have completed a lot of these acts by now as students. Okay, but these acts play an important role as an HR at different intervals, depending on what industry, what organization you are working with. Now, there are various HR practices within an organization where, as an HR, you should ensure or you should play an important role. Number one, directing a happy workspace, ensuring a lot of grievances of the people are handled well, are solved in time, okay, so that the workplace is happy. In the 80s, a lot of 80s and early 90s, a lot of dispute would take place in factories with unions and all. Okay, and always these disputes would be nothing more than ego issues between the management and the union, but it would take a legal turn, and this legality of it would lead to a lot of complication for companies. So hence, having a happy workplace where people's grievances are solved in time, people are satisfied with whatever element they are taken care of, is a very important aspect here. Open book management style, that is 360-degree appraisal management feedback system. As an employee, okay, I need to be aware how is my work going on from all elements or from all parameters, stakeholders. For example, I am a worker. My supervisor will tell me how my work is going on. My colleague will tell me how my work is going on. My customer or the client with whom I interact will tell me how my work is going on. If there is any junior or a person below me, he will tell me how my work is going on. So by this default system, I get a 360-degree performance evaluation. I come to know how my work is going on from all angles. This again helps to solve a lot of legal issues because you understand the problems or you understand how your work is going on from each and every stakeholder, so that tomorrow no one is, or you may say, aggrieved or has grievances against you or your system. Bonus based on employee performance. A lot of cases goes under this genre, where people are unhappy with how their bonuses or incentives are calculated, and hence they usually leave the organization and file a case and whatnot. Okay. Again, like I told you previously, transparency is one of the most important factors when you're working as an HR. Okay. Things should be cleared well in advance regarding how evaluation is going to be done regarding your performance. If people are very much aware of how their evaluation is going to be done, they will accept the bonus that is being given to them because things are very much clear. Next element is neutral evaluation system. Evaluation system is important because based on the evaluation system, you are going to judge whether an employee has done his performance or not, has completed his task properly or not. And hence, neutral evaluation system. As human beings, being neutral is a very difficult task because some sort of bias is generated in our minds normally. Okay, bias can be based on religion, based on region, based on caste, based on creed, it can be anything. As an employer or as an HR, all these biases should be kept aside. Okay, when you are evaluating a person, no bias should creep in. Okay, difficult task, but can be done with proper training. Okay, difficult task, but can be done with proper training. sharing knowledge, okay, like whatever information is there, if information is shared to all stakeholders properly, a lot of legal issues can be solved. Okay, a lot of legal issues can be solved. Okay, I had seen a case where a company used to provide a certain provision to the employees, and all of a sudden this provision was stopped without proper information. The employees went on strike immediately the next day, and it led to a lot of legal matter, whereas actually it was a very small issue. Okay, it was the company decided to stop the breakfast that they used to provide in the company. Lunch would continue. They were thinking of stopping breakfast because the company was facing a bit of losses. If this same information that the company is not doing financially well was shared with the workers initially, the workers may have accepted this decision. May. Okay, I can't predict what they would have done. But if things would have been much more clear or transparent, employees would have asked or accepted this decision. Open house discussion and feedback. This is something that is required in an organization where people discuss their problems. These problems are sorted out, and actual feedback is given to an employee regarding whatever issues he or she are facing. Okay, like for example, an employee is not performing well. You can call the employee, give him a feedback about your work is not being done well. Can you tell us what is the issue that you are facing? Okay, taking strict action, immediate action without proper discussion is not recommended. Okay, is not considered to be a best HR practice. Rewards and recognition, like I told you, when you are going to reward an employee, it should be clear to the other employees why this person is being rewarded. Only if it is clear, if it is known to the employee, will that particular employee accept what is happening here. Okay, accept what is happening. Hence I use the word transparency here. Transparency lets us or tells us much clearly what is happening throughout the organization. Okay, since y'all are law students, I felt more than I talking, I wanted to interact with you. So if you have any questions, I'm open for the questions so that we can discuss.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, just a minute. My voice is clear, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. My name is Kiran Kakre, sir. I am an LLM second year student. My voice is clear, sir. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
My question is that, sir, in today you talk about the NAP and the multidisciplinary approach for the education. That if you want to tell to students that whether in a market there is a requirement of the people or the employees who having a multidisciplinary skill or the specialized. So what is the approach? If you see pre-COVID or till 2018-15, the specialization people are more required in the industry. But after NP and the market, as per market requirement, there is a multi-skill requirement of the people, employees. So how do you differentiate between these two, specialization and interdisciplinary approach? So we can get an idea that if we are the LLM or the law student, so we can go for another specialization or something new, the domain where we can use the skill, both skills for social development or for the employment perspective.
If you ask my opinion regarding this, I feel both are the same element stated in different ways. If you talk about specialization, okay, for example, I'm using a management term now. I have students who are marketing majors or specialization. Within marketing, there are particular nuanced areas, retail marketing, digital marketing, and hence the student again specializes in that particular area so that he becomes a specialist in that particular domain. Okay, but it is just an extension of marketing. You are going into detail of a particular level of marketing. Where when we are talking about interdisciplinary, you as a student can opt for different mediums within your own domain. Like for example, if you are doing law or I'm doing management, I can take few subjects of, you may say, MCA, few subjects of law and I can incorporate it in the syllabus, where as a package, suppose I want to be an HR in an IT company, law is going to be required by me because I'm going to be an HR. I require knowledge of little bit of coding because I'm going to hire people who do coding. Hence, I'm taking MCA courses and I have the HR domain with me. So I will be a full package for this company. As a student, advantage क्या है मुझे अलग से मुझे coding का course करने का जरूरत नहीं है अलग से like if you see my profile, I had done a diploma in labor laws and labor welfare. If this open-ended course would have been for me during my graduation, I could have done courses which are more feasible for me during my graduation. I need not invest in another different course.
So you are saying, sir, that the most of the market is going towards from specialization to more multidisciplinary approach.
See, it depends on how you look at it, sir. It depends on what your domain is, where do you want to go, where do you see your future. If you feel doing a particular specialization is going to help you in your career, you are going to be an expert in that particular domain, okay, it is going to be helpful. You need not do anything else. But if you want to be a jack of all, okay, it would be much more helpful because you take 2-3 things down the stream and you can utilize it in your, you may say profile, whatever domain you're using. It all depends on where you view your future. How do you look or you plan your future?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Anybody else? Anybody else wants any clarification? You can raise your questions.
Sir, can you guide us on the in-house counseling that is being employed in the companies and all?
Okay. In-house counseling usually is a specialty area. Usually, you'll find this more into the IT domain, which it is being used more progressively, especially with a lot of stress that is taking place in their particular job. This element has come up, of this nuanced area has come up of in-house counseling. People are more comfortable sharing with their problems to this particular, let me say, post, or it is an HR role itself. You may have a specialized HR professional who has specialty in counseling, who handles this role. So they feel more comfortable talking about the problems within the workspace to the particular person, so that their issues are solved then and there. The problem regarding an in-house counseling, regarding IT area, I'm saying, see, IT actually is going to be creating a lot of issues in future years, especially with related to union. Okay, if you're talking about legal terms, a lot of issues may creep up from the IT domain in future. Like I told you, the 80s and the initial 90s were the unionization of manufacturing units. But now IT would move towards that area where people would feel more stagnated. They would find their demands are not being met, and slowly they would move towards the unionization. Unions are there right now also, but they are not that active in IT as they were initially in manufacturing. But slowly it is going to happen there also. The counseling unit that takes place here is almost like a grievance solving unit, where you're trying to understand what problems an employee is facing and accordingly take remedial action. If it is more of psychological, the counselor there is not, you may say, trained or adapt to handle serious cases. They can recommend that employee to a particular, you may say, specialized person who can handle that element. But with regards to grievances, small grievances can be taken care there itself.
Sir, in reference to the in-house legal counseling, so the students who are freshers, do you think that they are also capable of handling the post and adding in?
So you meant previously the in-house legal counseling we're talking about?
Yes.
Sorry, I took it as psychological counseling. Sorry. Again, being an HR, I think from that domain itself. If you're talking about legal counseling, joining as a trainee there would be more important, because this is what I tell my management students. You are learning law, but learn the law from the management point of view. Okay, because what happens is our students are very much scared of looking at section numbers and all. So this is what I usually try to talk to them, making them relax there, that they should be aware of the law, because the actual content is going to be taken care by the legal experts in the company. They don't have to go and fight the case or argue the case there. Regarding legal counseling, every organization has its own bit of legal counseling there. Okay. Also, organizations have created special divisions in legal counseling, where employees, if they have personal problems, legal problems, they can discuss those issues with the internal legal counsel there. Again, taking care of employees being most prime importance, these elements have been put there. But working as a trainee makes more sense there. Okay, because there you'll get to handle a lot of corporate law. Okay, I'm not sure of what post could be created there, but training options are always available as trainees in-house counseling, legal counseling.
Any other students have any other questions? Otherwise, we'll conclude the session. So I assume that there are no questions or queries. I request Priyanka to propose vote of thanks.
Sir,
Yes.
sorry for interruption. With your due permission, can I ask a question?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Sir, my question is that what are the emerging trends in when we are talking about HR and law? What are the emerging trends for these two interlinked branches? So if a student from the law or from the management background, if they go for the diploma in labor law as you done, but what is the emerging trend? What are the different areas that we can go, see as per the future perspective?
See, I've always said, or I always assumed that an HR having a legal degree is very much important. Okay, because the HR, when he's handling people, he should be aware of what legal complications may or may not arise, especially when you're handling people. And with regards to corporate law, a lot of issues come up with regards to labor, and hence there is going to be a demand for this. If you're talking about what legal course, or after taking law, completion of law, what can you do? Are you asking from that angle?
What are the emerging trends? As we say that if we see in the technology, data analytics, big data, or we can say IoT, is there. These are the emerging trends. So when we are looking towards HR with law, what are the emerging trends we see?
HR with law, if you're talking about, it is basically having law knowledge of what you say, legal codes. Okay, the changes that have been made, or the upcoming changes that are happening in legal areas, being knowledgeable of that is more than enough. Because what trend are you talking about? I can't get that question right now, because what I understood is, if you're looking at both these fields together, what can be the future? Right now, having knowledge of both these elements as an, yeah, hello.
Sir, yeah. So you talk about the job design or job analysis. I just my question is that in a corporate field, post COVID, what are the types of different jobs will emerge where we can utilize the knowledge of these two fields like HR and law? As traditionally we know that for various labor related issues or the employee related issues, we use this knowledge. But in upcoming days, as we say that work from home, there is a change in the business model or the working job style also. So what are the emerging fields and what are the challenges for the HR perspective when we think law connected with it? That is my question.
With regards to COVID, if you're talking about, there is no going to be change in the role or the job that is going to happen. Number one.
Yeah.
We're talking about the changes that are going to arise. There is no change in the role of the job. Only thing that may happen is new complications may arise that will require legal help. For example, initially IT employees would be more happy to join an IT company so that they get an opportunity of going outside, US or UK, wherever. With COVID into picture or with the job work from home emergency, a lot of these jobs have become such constraint that these opportunities are now reduced a lot. And that is leading to a lot of turnover. Okay. If you're looking at the combination of creating new jobs, no new job is going to be created. Jobs are going to be the same. Only the way you used to conduct that is going to change.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Anybody else has any questions or clarification you want to know, you want to have? Yes, Priyanka, you can proceed with proposing vote of thanks.
Yes, sir. It's an honor for me to get this opportunity to thank you all the dignitaries. I would like to express my gratitude to all the
Priyanka, you
esteemed.
switch on the camera. Yes.
So sorry, sir. I would like to express my gratitude to the esteemed the webinar for the kind present contribution.
Not
Special
clearly
thanks.
audible, Priyanka. You're not clearly audible.
But now,
Yes, proceed.
a special thanks to the Anand Education Society and the Anand College of Law, Latur, for always driving us all together to explore the dimensions of life and law. I extend my gratitude to our honorable guest and expertise resource person, Dr. Sanmat Shetty sir, who made the time out from his busy schedule to explain the concepts of human resources, its historical development, humans as assets, and human resource planning and analysis with illustrations. The entire procedure from training to exit of an employee, the practices therein, with enactments, formulations, and to safeguard the interest of the human resources as well, and answering to the various queries of the participants. I now thank our principal in charge, Dr. Poonam Nathani ma'am, for her constant support to make the webinar successful. I extend my gratitude to the coordinator of today's program, Ravindra Shetty sir. I thank our teaching and non-teaching staff for their constant support as well. I congratulate all the participants for their contribution and participation in this webinar. Thank you all and have a great day.
Thank you very much.
Before we conclude the webinar, I would like to thank Dr. Sanmat Shetty sir for having spared his valuable time and to interact with us as well as the students. And most importantly, I would like to thank my student Priyanka, who maneuvered this, anchored this program. Nobody takes out time to thank her. This is a this is a hard job to do. I thank her and thank all my colleagues and students and declare that this webinar is concluded. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, sir. No, sir.